Thank you for tuning in to WDRB Media, the voice of the community. You're listening to On Purpose with Love, and I'm your host, Natasha P., owner and creative visionary behind Rapper's Delight, Charlotte, North Carolina's choice for gifting with love, purpose, and personality. Rapper's Delight is also the sponsor for today's show. At Rapper's Delight, we specialize in gift wrap services as well as custom gifts, branded merchandise, and promotional items. You can learn more at rappersdelight-llc.com or send any inquiries to info at rappersdelight-llc.com. And you can follow us on all socials at CLT Rapstar. That's CLTWRAPSTAR. My guest for today is someone I deeply admire. Kenny Jones is an insurance agent based here in North Carolina, and he's a longtime Rapper's Delight supporter and someone who walks the walk when it comes to showing up with excellence. He's one of the first people to adopt a signature gift wrap design from us, and he uses it at every event, every occasion. And that kind of consistency, it leaves a mark. So I'm quite sure that that's a theme that's going to come up today. So let's dive in.
What's up, guys? My name is Kenny Jones. I'm the owner of Remedy Insurance and Wealth Builders. We're a full agency, so we do life insurance, health insurance, homeowners, auto, and commercial insurance. We specialize in the luxury division, helping high net worth earners protect their assets and their businesses.
Thanks, Kenny. I've known you for some time, and every time I talk to you, you always share a gem or nugget that I end up carrying with me on my day to day. So when we come back, I have a few questions I want to ask you about your entrepreneurial journey, because I think that they might be beneficial to our listeners to hear directly from you on how you've managed to be so successful in your business. You're listening to On Purpose with Love, and I'm your host, Natasha P. You're tuned into WDRB Media, the voice of the community, and we'll be right back after the break. Welcome back to WDRB Media, the voice of the community. For those streaming live through the free TuneIn radio app, Streama, Apple Music, Radio Seed, and more, you're listening to On Purpose with Love, and I'm your host, Natasha P. If you're just tuning in, we're talking with Kenny Jones, a North Carolina based insurance agent, and we've been discussing his entrepreneurial journey. Kenny, can you tell us what is a lesson, a hard lesson you had to learn the hard way as a business owner?
A lesson that I had to learn the hard way is to delegate. Delegation is key if you really want to scale your business. If it's a one man show, you're not able to really work on the business because you're so busy working in the business.
Dang, that's powerful. And that's something that a lot of business owners, even I can speak for myself, as well. But a lot of business owners really struggle with delegation because that's our baby, and we don't want to turn it over into the hands of somebody else. And take a chance that they may not do it as thoroughly as we would, but at the same time, we can't do everything ourselves. So that I think that that's great advice. I mean, and that's something that as an entrepreneur we have to learn how to delegate, even if it's just like going on Fiverr and finding a contractor to do our social media or something like that. It's just so necessary to delegate because there's only 24 hours in a day. So thank you for that. My next question is, can you tell me about a time that you almost gave up? What happened and what made you keep going?
So a time that I almost gave up, I don't think there's ever been a time that I almost gave up just because I know that this is my purpose and what I'm supposed to be doing. And, if I'm ever feeling challenged or ever feeling a bit of defeat, I turn to God and pray, and I always do remember my why. Something that helps me remember my why is reading my goals. What do I have planned? And I feel when you do write out your goals and you're constantly reminded of them, no situation is greater than that.
So I'd like to ask about tips for um, entrepreneurs, advice and things. So would you say that one of those things, this is an extra question, one of the things that you would advise is that people write out their goals?
Absolutely. So what I would say is definitely write out your goals. So at the beginning of 2025, I wrote out my goals, something that I've never done before, and I started to read them every morning. If anything you do, consistency really is key. And I kid you not, it's now May of 2025, and I've checked off almost everything on my list that I thought would take a year to accomplish. But because I remained consistent, disciplined, and read those goals every morning, it just came together.
Okay, I'm going to back up for a second. I probably should have asked this question first. Kenny, if you could give a word to somebody that was thinking about entrepreneurship, what would that be?
I would say one is not for the faint of heart if you want to start a business, but also you have to remain consistent. People start when it feels good and stop when it doesn't. If you allow emotion to control your decisions in business, you won't be successful. Any decision you make in your business needs to be based strictly off of logic and not emotion.
You're preaching now. I can definitely second that. It is not for the faint of heart because there are some days where I just want to throw the whole business away. Why insurance? What made you take that path?
Uh, so the way I got into insurance, so after graduating from the illustrious North Carolina Agricultural and Technical State University, I went to Enterprise Rent a Car. It was a management trainee program. I majored in sports medicine, but didn't really know what I wanted to do as a career. I fell in love with sales after being there for almost 2.5 years. Then the pandemic hit, and that was one of the best things that could have happened to my career. I know it was, a detriment to the country, but it was, something really good for my career. And I had time to step away. I had unemployment, so my bills were still being paid, but I had time to really research and say, what do I want to do in sales to really help people? And insurance kept coming up, and I saw how lucrative insurance was. It's a $3 trillion industry, and less than 3% of it is black. So I wanted to, be in an unsaturated field where we weren't, but it was definitely room for opportunity and growth. I took my licensure exam around, I believe it was June or July of 2020, and I applied for State Farm. I knew State Farm was a good place to start. I wanted to start my own agency, but why not go to one of the biggest insurance companies in the country to learn? From there, I made a post on LinkedIn about a few days before I started, working at State Farm, and the post went viral. It had over 300,000 hits. So my first day in the office, the agency owner pulled me aside, thanked me for making the post, and she was saying, "We're getting referrals from all over the country. Is this the State Farm that Kenny works at?" From there, I realized how powerful social media really was. My plan was to stay at State Farm for about 2 years. I ended up leaving about 5 months later because in my first month, I was the top sales producer between both of her offices, and I wasn't using her leads, but using social media. So January 2nd of 2021. So I started State Farm July of 2020, left in December of 2020, and then January 2nd of 2021, I started my agency and haven't looked back since.
I have so many questions.
Yeah.
One comment, go Aggies, Aggie Pride.
Aggie-Pride. There we go. There we go. Yeah.
And then you said you started at State Farm. And you said you knew that State Farm was a good company. Did you know somebody at State Farm or did you just go off
I
of
knew it off of Jake.
ah
But then from
just
there, everything is really about alignment. So State Farm now is one of my biggest referral partners. I just closed the biggest deal of my career yesterday, and it was a referral from State Farm. Thank you so
congratulations.
much. So,
Congratulations.
it's all about divine timing and alignment. And I feel like, everything, well, the Bible says all things work together for your good, those who love the Lord. I'm
Amen.
paraphrasing. But so I know every step in my journey has led to the next one and has helped me in some way. So,
There's so much to be said about walking in your purpose and understanding your God-given gifts. And I know from our conversations that you truly are somebody that understands that this is what you were put here to do. So I love that, and I thank you for sharing that with our listeners. Oh my gosh, we are already out of time. There's so much more I want to ask you. But in the meantime, Kenny, can you tell our listeners where they can find you, how they can get in touch with you, how they can find you on your socials, etc.?
yeah, so you can follow me on Instagram. It's Kenny J TV, all one word. My agency is Remedy Insurance and Wealth Builders. You can go to www.remedy, igloo, water boy, or insurance wealth builders.com. And that's my website, and all my contact information is up there. If you're needing a quote, if you're paying too much for your insurance, or you're not even sure what you're protecting or how much you're protecting, give us a call, and my team will be happy to assist you.
I wish we had more time. Do you have any parting words that you want to share with our listeners?
So just parting thoughts would be every action that you take daily is either working towards your success or moving you away from it, it's no neutral. So be intentional with your time.
And that's another word, Kenny. Thank you so much for being here with us today. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Continue to tune in every Tuesday at 3:45 p.m. And please listen live 24/7 by going to wdrbmedia.com and click on the Listen Live tab. Also, if you want to be a guest on the show or want free advertising, email me at info@rappersdelight-llc.com or connect with me on social media at CLT Rapstar. That's CLTWRAPSTAR. To everyone listening, remember success isn't just about big moves, it's the signature ones repeated with love and intention that really leave an impression. Until next time, I'm Natasha, reminding you to stay true, stay thankful, and keep moving on purpose and with love.